Alright, hey, it's Jake from TradeLab.ai, and we're going to go over a couple things in this week's workshop. So this is June 19th, 2022, and in this week's live workshop, we have several people joining us, and we're going to go over a couple advanced topics that were brought up this week, and so I just wanted to talk more about them and go over them. So first thing that I get asked a lot about, this isn't an advanced topic at all, it's actually the basics of TradeLab, is a combo template. So this is going to be probably basic knowledge for everybody on the call, but obviously a combo template is a template that allows you to trade long and short, right? So we have a combo template. We have several different templates in here, and many of these are combo templates. So we have a swing combo template. These DCAs are combos as well. Many of these are going to be combo templates. And again, a combo template, if we take a look here, actually, I'll just do this. A combo template is a template that has long and short built into it, so that you can have a strategy trade long and short at the same time, right? So you don't have to have a long strategy and a short strategy. It can flip back and forth. So a side right here, normally a strategy can only be on one side. So if you look at the strategy, it might say it's a long, or it might say it's a short. But with these rules, we are able to listen for alerts, and if we hear, say, a buy alert, then we would set the side to long. And if we hear a sell alert, then we would set the side to short, right? So when we talk about a combo template, all we're really talking about is a strategy that has, or a combo strategy for that matter, all we're really talking about is a strategy that has rules for both long and short. And when you create these rules in one strategy and flip back and forth like that, that's what we consider a combo. You also have to, when you're setting stuff up like this, when you set up like a strategy side, and you say buy, when I come over to my exit rules and I'm looking for the sell, I want to make sure that I'm looking for the sell when I'm in a buy. So that's one thing that I try to stress when we're doing combo strategies, is that if you're going to flip the side back and forth and then have logic for your exit, you need to make sure that you're doing the right logic on the right side, right? And so to do that, you would just add a condition here that says, strategy side is equal to, and then whatever side that you expect this logic to run on, okay? I do have some things coming in the new builder that are going to make that more streamlined, so that you can, not exactly have to worry about that type of logic. It'll be done for you more easier. But those types of things. So I will say I'm getting the builder done, and I am making good progress on it. I'm focusing on trying to make things work smoothly, load very fast. I already got that going pretty well. And I'm just trying to make it a much better experience baseline. So I am looking at doing some of these easier things, such as adding in conditions for you in the background, and you don't even have to see it or worry about it, right? Through different options and checkboxes and that sort of thing. Those things are probably going to come, shortly after the builder first releases, right? So it's going to be a process, right? But as to say that some of the things that I'm talking about in the builder are going to be, add-ons, right? Just want to set expectations. But yeah, so that was combo. I rambled on a lot for that, but that's a pretty simple concept. I think everybody understands combo templates. Trying to think if there's anything special I need to mention here for combo templates. Well, so it used to be that we recommended doing separate templates if you're going to swing trade. However, now with our new swing order action right here, I actually recommend you use a combo template if that's what you want to do swing orders. Okay, so that's combo templates. This is actually a good segue into rule timers, because before we had this swing order, we used to have to do this kind of odd thing to make swing trading work. And I actually have an example of this in the combo template for David Tech. So in David's combo template, I have this enable break even, and you can set this to true or false. Or no, sorry, not enable break even. Enable swing trading. So this is something that I marked experimental, and I had it defaulted to off. But if you wanted to try it, you could turn this on, and basically what this would do is it would turn on this extra rule that said these two rules right here. So it was the long swing loop and the short swing loop, and it said that if I heard an entry message and I had swing trading on, the idea is that sometimes David would send a exit alert and a entry alert very quickly, and sometimes the entry alert would come in before the exit alert. And so in those cases, we wanted to try to place an order, but we had to close the order that we already have open. So to do that, if I heard an entry message while I was in my, while I was on the other side, then I would run a rule timer that was entry long. Okay, so what a rule timer is, a way to delay rules, right? So you can delay rules, you can delay any actions that you want. This is just basically a way to wait a few seconds before doing something. So the way that I did this is I pressed new action, I come down here, I select rule timer, and we can have any of our rules run, whether they're entry rules or exit rules. We can select any of our rules to run. I can select this one, and then I can define hours, minutes, and seconds on how long I want to wait before running this rule, right? So that's a somewhat advanced feature there, advanced action. I know some people in here use that. So yeah. Any questions on rule timer? Any questions on that?
No.
All right. I will say the rule timer can be used in various ways. I've seen some useful ways to use it is to do like timeouts for something. So if you get a alert that comes in and you want to say, if you want to do a confirmation and you have 3 different confirmation flags and you don't really have a alert for when that confirmation ends. Like if I'm doing a confirmation of crossing into my RSI tunnel, then when I cross out of my RSI tunnel, I know that I know that I can send another alert and I can turn that to false, right? So if you think about multiple confirmations, I have 3 confirmations and I have variables that I'm trying to set to true and false. And normally we would have an alert that sets that to true, and then an alert that when that is no longer a good, position or a good situation, we would set that to false. We would send another alert. In some cases, you don't have that extra alert that sets it back to false. You don't have that. So instead, you want to say, "Hey, I'm gonna send this green flag, but I don't have a red flag to send. So when the green flag sends, I'm gonna wait 5 minutes or 2 minutes, right? And if I hear another green flag, within those 2 minutes, then that's a confirmation. You see, so that's a way to use rule timers. You can delay, and then after the rule timer, you would have a reset function. So I would make a new rule that says, reset whatever. You can make that on the exit side or the entry side. You would make a rule that says, hey, if I'm doing RSI, overbought, right? And if I want RSI overbought to be confirmation, then whenever that crosses, if I'm not going to if I just want it to expire in 3 minutes, then I would set 3 here. I would set 3 minutes here. I would set 0 here for 3 minutes. And then I would I would make a new rule that sets my RSI confirmation to false. And then I would run that rule. I would name it like reset. And I would run that rule. And so in 3 minutes after I get my first signal saying it's good, 3 minutes after, I'll set it back to false. Right? Okay. So that's that. Let's talk about commander strategies. And actually, we'll talk about stateful strategies right before that. So, once again, I know that I think we talked about this, most of us. There was some questions, so I want to clear this up for people who may not know. Stateful strategies are how TradeLab works in terms of tracking your trades and tracking your strategies. So a strategy is stateful, right? The idea is, the way TradeLab works is a strategy will look for entry and it'll run its blue rules, right? So this strategy is looking for entry and it has, it doesn't have, it would have blue rules and orange rules. So this strategy would be looking for entry, so it would be running its blue rules. And then when it enters, it will run, it'll say looking for exit. I don't know if I have any orders open. Nope, I guess I don't. Oh yeah, there I do. So it would say looking for exit, and it has open long, right? And so the idea, if we take a look at the monitor, there's actually 4 stages to a strategy. You're either searching, you're awaiting for an open fill, you're either open, you have an open position, or you're awaiting a close fill, right? So the awaiting period usually doesn't take too long if you're in a market. If you're doing a market order. So the awaiting period is usually fairly instant when you send in a market order. We take just a second or two to check where everything landed, make sure that we got your entry, and then we say, hey, it's open, right? So that's how that works. If you're doing a limit, you might see that it gets stuck in waiting open to fill for a while. If you have a limit timeout, it should time out after however long you set, so 1 minute, 5 minutes. It will go back to searching if it didn't fill. Okay? And once it does fill, it will say open. So it'll be open long or open short. It can partially fill, and we will say open. As soon as it partially fills and it says open, we start running the exit rules, looking for an exit for you. If it partially fills, the order will continue to try to fill. It'll stay open and it'll try to fill the rest of it. As it fills, if it fills at different prices for whatever reason, we will get updates to our entry price. And so if you're using your entry price in your rules and you get a partial fill, your entry price might change from the first heartbeat you have to a heartbeat later on, if you catch my drift, right? So your entry price is updated. Okay. And then, of course, when we close, we await a close fill. Most of the time, those should be market so that they fill immediately. If we do place a limit and it does fail, it's subject to the limit timeout as well. So if it does fail, then it goes back to open long, and we look for another way to get out. There are ways to set up advanced logic without asking me to do things that would, like, if you tried to exit and you found yourself still in it, there's ways to write a variable to say, hey, I'm trying to exit here, and if I come back and I run this again and I see my exit rule and this variable is true, and it shouldn't be true, that means that I failed, basically, right? And at that point, I can have logic that says, oh, hey, I need to try to place another order. I need to immediately try to close again, right? So that's what most people would expect. And because that's what most people would expect, I do plan on creating, as part of this new builder and the strategy setup wizard, I plan on creating sort of a workflow to say, hey, if I do have a limit exit and I am trying to exit and something goes wrong, I need to have some sort of a backup strategy, to say, okay, if it doesn't open after a minute, then try to replace. And when I do replace, what is that going to look like? Am I going to raise my price? Am I going to just try to do a market at that point and fall back and just say, get the hell out now? There's going to be a couple options, right? So that's on the roadmap as well. But as to say, if you guys do run into problems and you're like, oh, hey, I need to, I want to have an exit limit, and I need to make sure that if I fail, that I retry. You can do that yourself with rules, right? And so we can talk about that. Okay. And as a segue from that, we talked about stateful strategies. Let's talk about commander strategies. So commander strategies are strategies that don't place orders. So a commander strategy is all about listening for alerts and running its own logic. And then what a commander strategy usually does is it uses global variables. So you can set up global variables to say, what symbol should I trade, or you can set up global variable to say what amount should I trade, what leverage should I trade. You can, as a sort of a advanced example of a commander strategy, you could go as far as to say, I'm going to have a commander strategy listen for 20 symbols, and I have one commander strategy, and I have 2 or 4 different strategies that are workers. These strategies don't even know what symbol they want. They don't even know what amount they want. They don't know any of that. And you can have a commander strategy listen for what symbol sounds good, and when it thinks it should enter, it would handle all of the entry logic, right? It wouldn't really have any exit logic because it's never going to enter a trade. What it's going to do is when it wants to enter, it's going to set some global variables to maybe say, set symbol, set price, set amount, and that sort of stuff. And then the workers would listen for that. And you can have a worker basically say, I only listen for this if worker 1 is running. So worker 2 only runs if it knows worker 1 is running. And as soon as worker 1 listens for everything and it starts entering a trade, it would set a global variable that says worker 1 is in a trade, right? And so you can have 5 standing by, and 4 of them won't do anything until the first one goes. And then the second one will start really listening because it knows the first one's going, and so forth and so on. And so you can have your commander strategy fill these variables out, kick them off, and you don't need 5 copies of your price and your amount and symbol. You could have 1 copy of those, whatever fields that you want. And then whenever it changes, the worker strategy grabs all of that, fills itself out. It can clear all of the variables so that it's clear for next time. And then it can set itself to running so that the next one we'll start listening. And that's it. I will probably make a much longer video that actually sets up everything that I just said. I've been meaning to do that. Probably now's not the time, but I'm going to set that up just as an example of like how far you can really go, right? But yeah, so that is commander strategies. And besides that, I mean, those are the main 4 topics I wanted to cover. I know that we talk about tool belt trading, increase and decrease limit action. So we've talked about that a lot lately. Why don't we just do a real quick refresher for everybody? So we all know that you can come into take profit. You can come into edit your strategy. You can go to take profit and stop loss. You can set up a regular take profit or stop loss. Setting up like a percentage will set up one single line. It sends it to the exchange, and this basically closes the entire order, right? Whether it's take or stop. Stop will be in the direction of loss, and take will be in the direction of profit, no matter if you're doing long or short. And these can always be positive. I do the math for you, right? So that's how that works. We also know that we can go to advanced and we can set up lines in here. And so a lot of people, and even myself included, have gotten caught up with this. And it's like, hey, whenever I get to this, price, I want to take this amount. And you can do that with these lines. The difference between doing that with lines and using increase and decrease position actions is that a line is placed on the exchange and is checked on the exchange. Most of the time, that's what you want to do if you're just trying to cross a particular threshold, right? So if you want to set a line and have it hit that line, you want to set that on the exchange. You can set your own lines with our own variables in TradeLab. You can set your own lines just by creating a number variable and say, I want to make a take line, right? Take line, my own take line price. And this would be a number variable. So I could say 2, the number, and 2 would be my take line percentage. Maybe I want to do percentage. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to do 20,000, right? It would be up to me. And then this is how we used to set up our take lines before TPSL, is you would make a exit rule and you would say, I want to check my trade's current price, but we're not doing 20,000. If I was doing a USD exact price like 20,000 or 2,000, then I would use current price and compare it to my variable. But my variable is 2, as in 2%. And so I would want to do price move percentage. If I was doing 2 as in $2, as in a relative movement of $2 on the chart, then I would use price movement. That's in USD, right? So price movement, price move percent, and then current price. These are the 3 fields that we use in trade to compare our prices, okay? And if you didn't want to use a configure TPSL, you could set it up yourself as a variable and you could just compare it. And then that way it's not on the exchange and you don't actually have to place an order. You could just be trying to see if I cross this line, right? And that way you're not placing an order on the exchange. There's no fee and you don't have to take an amount or add an amount. You would just see if it crosses. So you can do that way with a variable or with a line. And then the other thing is, let's say you're not using price action to determine this. So with a line, you're waiting for the price to cross the line in order to take or add to your position, right? But here, well, let's say I have a custom alert and I want to listen for an alert of type, add or take, right? And if I get an alert that tells me to do that, then instead of worrying about a line, I don't have to worry about my line. I just listen for my alert, and then I increase or decrease position, right? And so this allows you to do percentage of position or percentage of original amount, as well as USD and coin amounts. And so percentage of position is compounding on the position, right? So if I'm doing a DCA and I increase my position and I say 100% of my position, then the first time that I do it, that will double my position, right? And the second time I do it, it will double my position, which means my original position is now quadrupled, right? Because it's percentage of position is compounding. If you think about it, it should make sense. So here, if you do percentage of original amount, this is probably what most people want, right? So this is 100% of what I put in originally. And so if I put in $100 and I want to do a DCA and I want to put in $100 every time, then I would put 100% of original amount and I would match what I put in every single time I do an ad. Okay? All right. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. This was a quick workshop on a couple different advanced topics that came up this week. Just wanted to go over them. If you have any other questions, you can always contact us on Discord. And you can also send me a support ticket. If you click on the bottom help button down at the bottom right, you can hit support ticket. So if you don't have Discord and you want to send me a message, you can do that and I'll send you a message back via email. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, give us a like and subscribe for more updates. Thanks. Have a good one. All right.